Yes, is it recording? Can you see that symbol, recording symbol?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So let's begin the session, guys. So if you remember the last session, we were talking about the deployment process automation, and as part of it, we have completed the scripting part, and we could able to deploy the our lead app application with the help of the shell script. Okay, we could able to deploy the front end, back end, both the parts, and we have written one script, and we could able to do that. Now the same thing, how do we do it with the help of a provisioning tool, or DevOps tool, or you can call it any name. Okay, people call it a different name: deployment tool, provisioning tool, infrastructure tool. Okay, you call with whatever the name, but ultimately it is a tool which moves your artifacts from one location to your servers and runs some scripts over there. Okay, and gets to the status back. So only the advantage with the tools is you will be having good tracking mechanism. Okay, and good versioning. Okay, at the same time, you don't need to much worry about this so much of scripting logic. Okay, everything is taken care by your tool. So these are the benefits. The important benefits compared to the scripting is it's like tracking is. I'm just trying to put those points. What are the benefits of making use of the tool? Okay, instead of scripting. One is the tracking, most important thing, and history. Okay, any changes you are making to your deployment, right? So you should be able to uh, track the history. And also uh, it's something for complex applications. Okay, very complex application. I think what you have hundreds of servers and all. Okay, so instead of doing the deployments with the scripting, right, if you do with the tool, right, the tool can take care of the things in parallel. Okay, so it can manage the things with parallel nothing but at a time it can comes to multiple servers, and it can do the deployments, and it can perform the operations on servers. Okay, so you might be thinking we can do that even with the scripting also, right? Yes, we can do it, but the thing is, with the help of scripting, if you write such a kind of a script, which will become very cumbersome for anybody to debug if some issues will be there. Okay, and also it is not so easy to write those kind of a scripts. Okay, you need to spend a lot of time on it. Okay, and like people already tried that. Okay, there are some disadvantages, yeah. Any concerns, guys? Can't you hear me? Is my voice is not clear?
Your voice is breaking.
Just a second.
No, your voice is not clear. It's breaking.
It's breaking still. Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I just disconnected and
Yes,
connected
yes.
again. So come back to this. So by comparing with the scripting, I'm just trying to give you some benefits of using the tool. Okay. So for very complex applications, it is good to go with the tool. Okay. For a small tiny web applications and one couple of servers, 3 servers, maybe 10 servers, you can go with the scripting. If you have hundreds and thousands of servers and all, it's better to go ahead with some sort of a DevOps tool. Okay. That was recommended. And apart from this, you can implement the continuous delivery process easily, okay, with the help of the NA tool. And also the reporting is good in this tool, and reporting, okay, is another advantage. Like, once the deployment is done, it can verify whether it is successful or not. And also you can do some sort of monitoring as well, okay, monitoring with agents on your servers, okay. So the DevOps tools, right, there are two types. One is agentless tool with agent tool, okay. So agentless and agent with agent. So what do you mean by agentless and agent is? Just try to take this paint. This is what your build server. Assume, like, this is what your build server, okay, and you have multiple servers here. And if you want to deploy it, okay, so running a command from here is called, like, agentless, guys. Agentless, nothing but you are connecting here and running and coming back again, okay. There is nothing running over here. That is the agentless, the first type, okay. With agent is something like, you will run a tiny process here, okay, a process. So what exactly happened, this process, okay, will communicate to you. Will run another process in your server, which is a server process, okay, and this tries to communicate with your server process actually, okay. So what will happen if this is happening with the tiny process, right? Think about, like, in a one deployment there are 10 instructions are there, okay, 10 instructions are there. So when it is a 10 instruction, think about the first type of agentless, okay. In agentless, what will happen? It will establish connection to remote server almost, okay, almost 20 times, because one is to connect and deploy and start something like maybe 30 times, okay. So one is to go stop, one is to deploy, one is to start, so 30 times connection. So assume, like, each connection is taking 1 millisecond, so 30 milliseconds it will take it. All right, now with agent, with the other type of one, okay, what will happen if there are 10 instructions, right, okay. So it needs to, like, takes only 3 milliseconds or 3 milliseconds, okay. The first millisecond is to pass in 10 instructions to client process, okay. So all these 10 instructions, instead of running from the build server, it runs the 10 instructions from your node itself, okay. So when it is running a 10 instructions here, right, you don't need to establish a connection. Your your client process will take care of it. Once everything is done, then it reports back to your server process. So, like, first one is to establish a connection, second one is to, like, report it. So hardly 2 milliseconds, not 3 milliseconds even, okay. So think about how much, 30 milliseconds and 2 milliseconds, okay. That is for one server. Think about, like, there are hundreds and 200 servers are there, okay. So in those scenarios, agentless is a kind of a really burden for your servers, and it will create so much of network traffic, okay. Sometimes the connections might fail you, okay, and that may cause a build failure, because if you can't connect and run a command, that might fail, and the further commands will be, like, not carried forward, they'll just stop, okay. That's the advantage of with the agent with. So the chef, the tool which you are going to talk about, is a agent with, okay, with agent nothing but the agent will be there. It's not an agentless. Your scripting is agentless, okay. But still there are a couple of tools are there with agentless. I think Rundeck is one tool, okay, and Leroy is one tool, not Leroy. There's one more tool, is there. Ansible, okay. So Ansible also one tool which doesn't have any agent, guys, okay. These two are the agentless, but Chef, Puppet and all, these are all the agent based tools, okay. Agent instead of agent with, called as a agent based. That's a good word, okay. So your Chef, Puppet, uh, deploy it, okay, and BMC, Blade Logic, okay. These kind of tools are all based on agent. Ansible, Rundeck, these kind of tools are all based on agentless, including your scripting. Okay, now let's get into some details about the tool which you're talking about. Okay, so there are n number of tools are there to perform the deployment automation. So let's start with Opscore Chef. Okay, so this is not an open source, guys, Opscore Chef. Okay, so but still people are making use of it because Opscore Chef will give you a limited license. Okay, limited license. Okay, if you want full license, you have to pay and get it, right? So let me go to the official website then see Opscore Chef. They used to call it the Opscore Chef earlier. Maybe they removed the Opscore part now. They just call it the Chef. Okay, so this is seems to be official web. Okay, they changed a lot actually compared to the last version one. Okay, no issues. We'll follow the version which is the most stable one. Okay, so Chef is a tool which will help you to perform the continuous deployments on your environments. Okay, at whatever the scale you want it. Okay, and whatever the speed you want it. What are the speed you want it? Like speed in the sense it performs in a parallel way. Okay, so that you can save a lot of time. And the reporting is really good. If something goes wrong, it can give you all the details in the form of the logs and all. Okay, so basically Chef backbone is framework. Okay, it's framework and it's architecture. So anybody who is working with the Chef deployment tool, right, they should understand how it works and what is its architecture. Okay, so the naming again. Okay, and the thing is this naming, or you can call it as a naming convention or acronyms. Okay, you should know all these acronyms and naming convention of what do you call each and every component in your Chef. Okay, that's the most important stuff. So before starting with the Chef installation and all, first of all I'll try to explain you the architecture of the Chef, guys. Okay, so before starting with the architecture of this Chef, I'll try put a download in the background. Okay, that will be going on so that I can start the architecture stuff. Let me start the downloading the Chef server component. uh, I would better search download Chef server version 12. Okay, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux, our 64-bit machine, right? So not 7, guys, our version is 6. Okay, you can go for this download. Come on, it's asking these details. Actually, I had downloaded this one in my previous batch, but I don't have the backup of that file at the moment. That was there in some other laptop, not in this laptop. Okay, let it go on. In the backend, it's 323 MB around, and I need to download one more component, which is download chef. uh, Server is one, workstation. I'm gonna call this chef SDK. So, Debian, Red Hat. Yeah, download this. This is around 105 MB. Okay, there is one more is there. So keep the download in the background, it will be going on so that I can explain the architecture stuff. What happened to the export? Documentation. Sure. Yeah, I think we don't have to worry about it. How the links here guys. Instead of downloading directly, my instructions, I can just follow these instructions. Okay, so cool. We can just stop this once. We can do it directly with the help of Linux commands. I was just thinking like to start them. Where is it? Okay, let it go. Come back to the chef's architecture part. So how it is defined is there are three layers are there in chef. Okay, the first one important one is chef server. Okay, if you want to set up the chef environment in your organization, you have to first install the chef server. Okay, so this is called a server component, and in this server, like we will host all our scripts. Okay, and those scripts we call it as cookbooks in chef terminology. Okay, I'll talk about all this terminology. Okay, but just for a layman point of view, try to understand there is a server. Okay, and the server can be Linux or Windows, and mostly 90% the chef guys recommend it should be a Linux server. Okay, on a Linux server you try to install the chef server. So we'll install a chef server. So that's what the first downloader I am installing it. Okay, if you look at the server component is there, right? That's what I'm downloading it. Right. Now once that is done, now come back. This is what your PC or laptop. Treat it like your PC or laptop. Now you need to, what you're supposed to do, you need to write your scripts, right? You need to write your scripts and you need to run them. Okay, so to write the scripts and to run them, right, you won't run it on the chef server. Actually you will be running it on your machine, or this can be a build machine. So this can be either a build machine or your laptop. Okay, so this will be your machine only when you are developing the scripts. Okay, once you develop the scripts, when you are ready to use it in your continuous integration, continuous delivery, and this will become a build machine. So in this build machine, you need to install chef SDK. Okay, so this machine we also call it as a chef workstation. Okay, so workstation, nothing but you're working here. Okay, from here only you run everything. Okay, the server is the kind of runs behind the scene. Behind the scene, nothing but behind the UI. It runs in the background. But this is UI for your workstation. From here you run it. Now from here, what you will do it, you will deploy into your environments. Okay, assume this is what your environment, and this environment you have a number of servers. Okay, so one server, second server, okay, third server, fourth server, something like that. So you have a number of assume you have a number of servers. Okay, now From here, what you will do, you will try to deploy your components into these servers from your workstation. Okay, you might be thinking, then what is a chef server role here if I'm trying to deploy it here? Okay, but actually when you're trying to deploy it right from here, you're not exactly deploying it. Okay, what you're doing it, you're sending the instructions to your servers. Okay, so when you're sending the instructions to your server, right, I said your chef is an agent based one. So in your in your servers, okay, there will be a tiny process installed which is called node. Okay, this is also called chef node. Okay, chef node. So the chef node will be there in every server where you deploy your application. Okay, that's mandatory. Without the chef node, you cannot deploy anything. So what you will do it, you will send instructions to chef node. Okay. Now the chef node, what it will do it, to perform the instructions on your server and nothing but to execute the commands or whatever you send it, right, it will take the help of your chef server and downloads all those scripts instructions from your chef server. Okay. It downloads scripts instructions or scripts, or like, what do you call, any temporary files. Also it can download, uh, assume like, you have some binary repository, binary repository. Okay, example, your Nexus, guys. Okay, in your Nexus you have a war file and all, right? Okay, so now what exactly the chef node will do it, it will download the scripts from the chef server and it will download the binaries from your binary repository. Okay, and then your chef node will perform the instructions as you said. Okay, so if you think like, you might be thinking, then we are connecting to this server, right? What we are doing it here, see, in this connectivity from your workstation to your chef node, it just trigger, that's it. You are not doing anything. Trigger nothing but you're switching on so on the server. So what exactly your node will be doing, it downloads all the scripts from your chef server and downloads the binaries from here and tries to, like, execute each and everything one by one on your node. Okay, so it performs everything on here. Now you want to be thinking how it will download the scripts from here. Okay, who will place the scripts in the chef server? So I said it will download the scripts from your chef server, right? The arrow is this side, guys. Okay, it downloads from chef server. So these scripts you will be pushing when you are trying to develop them into your chef server. So you will push your scripts to your chef server. Okay, first you do this, you first push your scripts to your chef server. I'll give the instructions one by one. When you develop a script, this is what your first job. Okay, push scripts to chef server. Okay, then once you push it, then the second thing is trigger nothing but so and so server, you trigger that. Okay, and once you trigger it, what exactly your chef node in this, it will do it, it will download the scripts. Okay, this is the third one, scripts download. Okay, scripts download, that is the third step. Once it is downloaded, then the fourth will be download artifacts. Okay, and fifth will be run all. Okay, so this is how the chef works, guys. Okay, so among these there are three important concepts, components in chef, which is a workstation is one. Okay, I'll just round it up. Workstation is one, chef server is one, and chef node is one. So as part of your setup, you need to download three components. One is a chef server, one is a chef SDK, which is also called chef workstation, and you need to download the chef node. And again, chef node you need to download, guys. When you trigger right, it automatically, like, downloads from the internet. Okay, and first time it downloads, guys. Okay, only for first time this downloads from internet. Sorry. So it downloads from the internet for first time. Second time around, you not download, it will make use of the same thing. So it's a one-time download actually. In every node, at first time, very first time when you freshly set up a server, it will download the chef node. Next time around, it will not download. It makes use of whatever is download. Any update is there, it will update automatically, guys. Okay. internet is nothing but, guys, there is a chef community portal is there. Okay, so from chef's community portal it will download this node. Okay, chef community, right? This is what the architecture of your chef, and the same thing you look at in the website, you can find it out how it is defined. Chef architecture. Okay, so did you see this? There are three layers I told you. One is Chef SDK, one is Chef server, one is client. Client or node all are same, guys. Okay, so only the diagrammatical representation is a bit different, but whatever I explained is like, that's how it works. See that kind of a diagram. Yeah, here I can find it. Can you see? These are all your nodes. So where Chef client will be installed. Okay, so also called node. So it will be installed in these nodes, and then again you have a workstation. Can you see workstation, blue color one? Okay, and chef server. So what you will do, you push the things into chef server. Okay, and these clients will download the artifacts from your chef server and execute it, but there is no direction from your workstation to server, but actually you will fire it actually. Okay, there is no kind of arrow here, but in a reality we'll call this one command called bootstrap command that will trigger the bootstrap command in the nodes, and that will download from the chef server. So this is how the flow it works, guys. Okay, now all these scripts, you develop a scripts in your machine, right? These scripts you push it to your chef server at the same time. Okay, you can push or you can maintain them in a Git repository as well. Okay, so you can create a Git repository and you can commit your scripts on your Git repository. Okay, version control your scripts. Okay, now instead of scripts in chef terminology we call it as a cookbooks. Okay, so wherever script is there, you replace it with the cookbook, guys. So we develop the cookbooks, we commit the cookbooks into Git repo, and we push the cookbooks into chef server. And when we trigger the deployment command, the chef client will download the cookbooks. Okay, will download the artifacts and it executes on it. Okay, and completes the deployment. So you should understand this architecture well, otherwise the rest of entire chef, how I'm working, it will be difficult to understand, guys, because everything is a command line based. There is no UI, there is nothing you can see it in the front end. Okay, guys, any questions with architecture? Any queries? Any questions? Okay, I hope you don't
No,
have any
no
questions.
questions.
Fine, now let me start my mission 33.10. 33.10 is our deployment server, right? What is our build server, guys? 11. Yeah. Git bash. I restarted my machine, so I lost the Vagrant connection. Let me try to boot my Vagrant. DevOps, Linux, VM1, Vagrant up. Okay, where we will install the chef server, guys? Which one will be the better one? Vagrant up. Yeah, we'll try to install here and see. And let's follow the instructions clearly. Don't deviate from the instructions, because installing chef server itself is a big pain. It's not straightforward, guys. That's the reason I documented well this stuff. You have to perform all these commands one by one till here. Okay, this is what your chef server installation, and after that you have to install the workstation as well. So to perform this job right, I would need at least 3 machines in my environment. Right now I have 2 machines guys, okay. Now this chef server I'm going to set it up over there in the 192.168.33.11, okay. Now my node is going to be this one, okay, 192.168.33.10, okay. Next, I would need another machine to develop the my cookbooks and all. Okay, so I'll spin up another machine, guys. 192.168.33. I'll let me call it as a 12. Okay, so where is my Vagrant? Here. mkdir Linux underscore VM2. Let me call it as a workstation. Easy to remember, right? VM2 workstation controller Vagrant init. Okay, I don't have the name of it. Vagrant init. What is the name of this? Okay, so let me give an IP address to this. I call this as a 12. I went up. Okay, so that machine will go on in the background. So meanwhile, we'll try to install the chef server here. We'll start Vagrant. Session. Vagrant. Vagrant. Right. So let's go back to the instructions. Now, first and foremost, before installing, you have to give a valid domain name to, or host name to your Linux machine. Okay. So for that, just make use of this. Add a host name to etc host. Okay, so let me see what is there in the etc host. Cat etc host, everything is localhost. This is not a valid domain name. Okay, so we have to give a valid domain name that can be given with the help of in this file with the root user. You can add something like sudo vi etc host. Okay, put your IP address 168.33.11. okay, uh, chef.mycompany.com, some domain name. Okay, and you can remove this. Right, so once that is done, try to run this command and see bash -c hostname etc host sudo and try to run the hostname on itself. Come on, 192.168.33.11 shop.mycompany.com. Okay, unknown host. think we have to reboot, guys, to reflect these changes, right? I think my document is not updated one. This is not the latest one. Give me a second. I'll check it out my last email to previous batch so that I can get the latest one. Chef installation. Uh, October 20. This should be latest one. Yep. I will just copy everything. I'll just download this. Alright. Okay. Chef server instance. Minimum 1 GB RAM should be there. And add host name. Okay, I need to add in two files, guys. etc and this file. That's the reason. Okay, I found something wrong. Very old file. This is the right one. So add your DNS. Okay, and also in this file. Let me open this file. vi etc host is one. Yeah, here we added. It's good. vi. What is the other file name? This one. Network. You should open with sudo, otherwise you can't edit it. Sudo. Host name, here it is a local host, so try to change it with whatever you give it over there. chef.mycompany.com. Okay. Right. Now try to run this command. Now try to run this command. This should print your domain name. Yes. Okay. So it should print chef.mycompany.com if you try to run hostname -f. So if you could able to do that, that's good. So once that is done, please restart server once about to restart the server once above hostname is set up. Okay, once this is set up, we need to restart. So how to restart, guys? Reload. Restart nothing but reload your background, nothing else. Git bash. That git bash seems to be busy, so let me open another one. DevOps, Linux, VM 1. Okay. Background reload. Background reload. Let it reload. So once it is reloaded, we need to start running the download command. But again, you guys said like no 1 GB RAM. Does it have a 1 GB RAM? This VM. Let's see. You can increase the RAM if you want. RAM nothing but the memory to your VM. Okay. Let's check the memory first, then we'll increase it. You can give whatever the memory you want it here. Okay. But that should be like less than your system memory always. Done. Okay. Now let's restart. Vagrant. Vagrant. Okay. I hope you guys observe something here. Earlier it was localhost. Now it is showing chef. Okay. So it's reflected now, the host name. If you try to type the host name now, it shows chef.mycompany.com. Okay. Now let's try to perform the rest of the instructions. So now I need to install the server chef-server-core. Okay. Which is almost around 400 MB, guys. So let me see whether this has been completed, the downloading or not. Okay, it is still going on. 114 MB is downloaded. Okay. If the workstation is completed, at least workstation we can do it. Yeah, this seems to be done. The workstation VM is up. Let me try to open the workstation VM, guys. Not duplicate, sorry. New session. New session 192.168.33.12. Vagrant. Vagrant. Okay, this is a workstation one. Okay, so for workstation, you don't need to set up the hostname and all, not required. You can directly go to the installation of your components. Okay, I'm just skipping few steps because I don't have install at the moment. Okay, so once the install is done, I can perform this. Just come down a bit down. You can see chef workstation setup. Okay, so install the development kit directly, duplicate this one. Okay, what is it? Chef SDK 010. Okay, which one we download, guys? Chef SDK 1.12. So the most latest one we downloaded. Okay, let's see how it works. We'll try to copy that to the remote machine and see. SCP. Vagrant at the rate 190.168.33.12. Vagrant. So right, this has been copied now. Now you go to your Linux machine. Okay, and you can find that chef SDK here. Okay, so just try to copy the command sudo rpm something hyphen I install will be there. Where is it? Sudo rpm, this one. Put this command and chef SDK, whatever you have it. Now it is installing your workstation, guys. Workstation is pretty quicker. It won't take much time. Only the problem with the chef server. If that is up and running, then it's good actually. We need to download one more component. Let me try to download that as well. Download, manage, chef manage. So Red Hat 6.5. Okay, which manage was there here? 2.2, 2.2. Download it. Come on, it's again asking this. Oh my god, it is 281 MB. I don't think it is not going to happen today. Okay, so meanwhile the workstation is done, guys. So to cross check, try to run a chef command. You can see all this stuff. Okay, chef hyphen version or hyphen version. Yeah, you can find the development kit version, which is 1.2.2 and client version 12.18, blah blah blah. You can see all this stuff. So this is nothing but your workstation has been successfully installed. I mean, this is done, guys. Okay, the workstation is done, but server installation is not done it because it is still downloading your stuff. Okay, and a node, we don't need to do anything. It is automatically done when you do the deployment, because that dynamically downloads from the portal and installs in your machine. Okay, so I hope, I don't think it is not going to finish now, but still, what I will do, once these are all downloaded, I'll just keep it ready and we can see the rest of the installation in tomorrow's session, guys. And one more thing, sorry, tomorrow there is no session. Have a release in the evening EU time, so I may not be able to come this time, so we'll meet again on day after tomorrow. Okay. Any questions still here with architecture and installation instructions? I mean, we didn't complete it yet, but still, whatever we did as of now. Any queries? Vamshi, Mahendra, Shashi. I'll share this document. You can also start parallelly. Any queries?
Hello.
Yeah, Shashi.
Yeah, Chiranjay, I have one doubt, but not in this.
Okay.
In build tools,
Mm-hmm.
by using Maven, we have pushed that artifacts into Nexus, no?
Right.
So it's done by Ant itself.
Pushing to the Nexus repository through Ant. Okay. So we can do it with the help of the Ant, but the thing is, it requires certain structure for artifacts. Uh, like example, group ID, parent ID, artifact ID, and version, all this stuff. If you could able to make your jar file or war file with all those parameters using Ant, right, you can push it. It's not like only Maven can
Okay.
push it. Okay, but Maven is default aligned with Nexus repository. So you don't need to do anything explicitly. Default Maven build commands will generate that kind of a jar and var, and it can easily push it. You don't need to do any kind of explicit configurations. But for Ant, you cannot directly push it. You might need to find some external task. You should understand what is the external task. So find a library which connects to a Nexus repository. Okay, and pushes the jar file.
Okay. It can be done through the Jenkins.
Yes, of course. Again, it can be done through Jenkins, nothing but see, if the jar is available, right? Or jar, or, I mean, artifact is available, right? Pushing to Nexus can be done through anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other queries? Okay, guys. So this downloads takes more time. I'll just leave my system like this, and once these are downloaded, tomorrow I'll continue the installation stuff. Okay. So at least tomorrow we'll start some basic commands in our workstation. Okay. That's it for today. We'll catch up. Not tomorrow, guys. Day after tomorrow. Remember. Okay. Tomorrow there is no session. See you all.